Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Listen. This thing about Shakur Stevenson, my boy is headed towards disaster, right? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to call it right now. Shakur Stevenson is heading towards disaster, and he needs somebody needs to help this guy out, because I'm telling you, he's about to get his ass destroyed. Let me pull something up while I talk about Shakur Stevenson. Make sure you like and subscribe, man. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Leave that donation for that fried rice and chicken wings and become a member to the channel. Y'all spend more money on BS every month. What's $3 going to kill you if you enjoy the content? Now, this is Shakur Stevenson, right? I want to make sure that I go ahead and put this out here, right? Let me make this statement. Shakur Stevenson is an amazing fighter. Okay? He is amazing. He's accomplished a lot already in his short career. However, I don't like hearing Shakur Stevenson. I don't like the way he's been talking lately. Okay, 23 wins, 11 KOs, 47% KO ratio, 5'8", 68-inch reach, so his arms aren't even long. And you take a look at his last fight, Josh Padley, not his fault, he was supposed to fight Kid Austin. Some people even felt that was a fight, that was a cherry pick, but Kid Austin can fight, but Shakur wanted to give him an opportunity, which is to be commended. Before that, he fought Harutunian, and Harutunian is a good fighter. Shakur Stevenson and Harutunian, man, some people felt Shakur could have done better in that fight, but it is what it is. He fought De Los Santos. A lot of people felt that, he ran the whole fight. He never really tried to engage. They don't give him much respect for that fight. But then the other names on here, Yoshino, Conceição, Valdez. Valdez was a good win, but then Herring, and the bottom line is, when they're looking at his resume, I think those are all solid fighters. But some people don't give him credit for those. But this is what concerns me about Shakur Stevenson. He has William Zepeda in front of him. An absolute beast. Now, for those of you who don't know who William Zepeda is, well, I'll put it to you this way. He's a guy out of Mexico, and this guy can throw 100 punches around. And he's not there trying to coochie-coo his opponents. He's applying pressure, and he's the aggressor. Now, do I think Shakur Stevenson has a chance? I do. And the reason why I think he has a chance is because Tevin Farmer was able to have some success against Zepeda with timing, accuracy. But the difference is Tevin Farmer was willing to stand in the pocket. Tevin Farmer was willing to go through the firestorm to land his shots. Now, in the first fight, I thought Zepeda did enough to win, but I wouldn't have been upset if Farmer got the nod. But Zepeda overwhelms you. The second fight, it was all Zepeda, right? But Tevin Farmer found a way to dig deep and still come back and be competitive and compete. However, I felt he lost that fight. He didn't, but he lost it. But when I watched that second fight, I said, Zepeda isn't going to let a mistake like what happened in that first fight against Tevin Farmer. He's not going to let that happen again. Now he's about to fight Shakur. It's hard to go against a guy like Shakur Stevenson because he is talented. But I just feel Shakur Stevenson, he reminded me of Devin Haney, where now he wants to, I think he kind of focused on trying to show that he can stand in the pocket, that he has power, and how he spars with Terence Crawford. He spars with guys who are much heavier than him, right? When I start hearing a guy talk like that, it reminds me of Devin Haney. And Devin Haney wanted to prove a point so bad to his detractors that he could knock people out, that he did have power. You know what? Devin Haney may have power. Shakur may have power, but they don't have concussive power. They don't have the one-hitter quitter. There's levels to power. And they don't have the kind of power where they hit somebody and I think can discourage them. I think what happens with them is their ability to counterpunch and their speed and their accuracy is what can cause fighters to become discouraged. However, Zepeda is not your normal fighter. I have a feeling Shakur Stevenson is going to try to stand in the pocket and try to exchange with Zepeda, and I think he will lose the battle. Now, if Shakur Stevenson has a pinpoint accuracy, has that freakish speed that he has, can control the distance, and take a little half a step back, exit on angles, make Zepeda pay when Zepeda comes rushing in, the fight can get interesting, and you could see Shakur take control of that fight. I just haven't seen anybody do it to Zepeda, but then Zepeda hasn't fought Shakur. At the same time, if Shakur boxes smart and is okay with being ridiculed to just get a decision, maybe he wins. But I have a feeling he's going to try to prove that he has power, and that's going to be detrimental. Now, in addition to that, he's out here talking about possibly fighting guys who he shouldn't even be thinking about fighting, who are 20 pounds heavier than him, like Conor Ben, and, you know, the right money going to 147 and 154. So it's not just Conor Ben he's looking at. This is the problem. He's looking at money. Let me tell you something. When these fighters are out here looking solely at money first, then at the threat of an opponent, and then at the chances of them actually winning a fight, that's when they lose, and they lose badly, and you get hurt. Shakur Stevenson has developed to me a false sense of comfort or confidence as a result of sparring sessions with guys who are bigger than him. And let me tell you, some of you guys may have fought as pros. Some of you have you've had expanded amateur backgrounds. So I respect that. But I've fought as well. No expanded amateur background, but I've been in the ring, I've had amateur fights. I've fought in smokers as well. I've trained, I've done everything. It doesn't matter if you've only had one fight or if you've had 1,000 fights. If you've gone through a training and you've had to cut weight and get ready for a fight and go through that process and either win or lose, you're qualified to talk about certain things, right? Let me tell you, sparring is sparring. Now, maybe Shakur Stevenson in his sparring sessions, they were fights. Okay? And if that's the case, he was no kidding in a shootout, and he was holding his own or getting the best of guys who were bigger than him, well then, all respect to him. However, you can't make me believe Shakur Stevenson is in there with Terence Crawford. And it's a no kidding. Ding, ding, ding. They're both in there seeing who can inflict the most damage on the other to either render them unconscious or to make somebody quit. You can't make me believe that's the kind of sparring that's going on. I'm not saying that it's not good work, but you can't make me believe that that's what's going on. Because if that was the case, I think Terence Crawford would have been killed that dude. All right? So, that being said, Shakur with the sparring, looking at the money, listening to what Sean Porter said about Shakur Stevenson, the best defensive fighter ever, even better than Mayweather, which is absolutely a fail on Sean Porter's part. He knows better. Everybody knows better. Even Shakur knows better. He may not say it, but he knows. None of these guys out here have no damn Floyd Mayweather defense. Get out of here with that. Stop. But my thing is, when you look at it, I just think from the false feedback that he's received, I think the irresponsible praise that he's received, and the fact that he's sitting there starting to buy into this and envelop himself in his own hype, that is a recipe for him to head towards disaster. And I think disaster is going to strike when he fights Zepeda. Can he win? Yeah, but he has to be perfect the whole fight. You know how hard it is to fight somebody who's got pop and who can throw 70 to 100 punches around? You know how hard that is? Maybe some of y'all don't know. That's not easy. and they're putting pressure on you. Shakur Stevenson is a guy who likes to move around. Zepeda's going to be putting pressure on him, cutting the ring off, letting his hands go. Shakur Stevenson isn't a guy who throws 5-6 punch combinations. He likes to sit there, man, and one punch at a time. You know what I'm saying? That's what he does. He's a chicken pecker. He want to come in there and chicken peck you. You ever see somebody type, who can no kidding type? They have all 4 fingers on there. They're typing this shit. Then they got the other person who's there, the chicken pecker. That's Shakur Stevenson. He's not the guy, man, who's typing using all his fingers. Now, if he gets you hurt, he'll open up. So very concerning for me to hear Shakur Stevenson talk the way he's talking. I don't like it. I think Shakur Stevenson is better than that. I think he's an intelligent guy. But it sounds to me like he's kind of got caught up in his own hype. And I think he's watched Tevin Farmer fights. He watched Tevin Farmer's fights with Zepeda. And Shakur Stevenson is out here saying, because he believes he's better than Tevin Farmer. So he's like, shit, if Tevin Farmer did that, what would I do? I don't know. If you're looking at the first fight, I could understand him having those conversations with himself. But you look at that second fight, I don't see how Shakur Stevenson can still be out here having these same beliefs, self-beliefs about what he can do to Zepeda. I just think it's all bad. And if he does get past him, this whole discussion about him and he would go up 20 pounds to fight these bigger guys for the right money, that's not smart at all. You know what? You said you're a 135-pound fighter. You said maybe you go up to 140 for the right fight, but 135 is where you want to do your business, right? Tank talked along the same lines. But, you know, let's talk about maybe 140, you know, because I put some things in perspective for y'all. Is Shakur Stevenson a great fighter? He's a great fighter. He is. But let's put some things in perspective. The fact that he's someone for the right money, jumping up 20 pounds. He want to be Terence Crawford, people. That's what Shakur Stevenson wants to be. He wants to be Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford is basically jumping up 21 pounds to fight Canelo Alvarez. Yeah, he fought at 154, but really, you can't really, there's no need to really count that. Crawford's a 147-pound fighter who went to 154 for a moment in time and then straight to 168. So basically, Crawford jumped 21 pounds to go make this fight with Canelo. Huge fight, huge money. Now you got Shakur Stevenson, who wants to be Terence Crawford, talking about possibly jumping 20 pounds, like what Crawford's doing, for the right money, like what Crawford's doing. He still has work to do. Crawford doesn't have work to do. Crawford's done the business. He's done the business. Crawford's up there in age. Crawford's been putting in work for a long time. Sitting here talking, man. Let's just go ahead and pull it up right now. Because this is the other thing, man. I think sometimes people forget, you know, how much work these guys, a guy like Terence Crawford, has put in. You know what I'm saying? Check this out. All right, this is Terence Crawford. This man has 41 fights, 31 KOs, 75% KO ratio, 5'8", 74-inch reach. Okay? 41 fights. He turned pro in 2008. 2008, he turned pro. It's Shakur Stevenson, turned pro in 2017. You're talking almost a 10-year difference. And Shakur want to come out here talking like Terence Crawford? He can do what he wants. It's his choice, but he's going to have to deal with the consequences if he tries to move too fast, in my opinion, and start thinking that he's earned the right to try to create his own legacy at this point in his career. You know what? He better be very careful, because right now, I don't think Shakur Stevenson's that hot. Nobody is really jumping to sign him. Eddie Hearn made the move. But for those of you who are sitting here, if you listen to what Eddie Hearn tells you, then that means that you're weak-minded. Eddie Hearn will tell you anything. The shit he's doing with Shakur Stevenson is tantamount to what he did with Deontay Wilder. tantamount to what he did with Edgar Berlanga. He's going to talk it tantamount to what he did to what's his name, Conor Ben. Eddie Hearn is a mouthpiece. He's going to make you feel like you're something you're not. Eddie Hearn gonna make you feel so good about yourself. You could be 5'1". Eddie Hearn will have you feel like you're 7 feet tall. No, mate, you're 7 feet tall. You be like, huh? Damn, maybe I am 7 feet tall. Knowing your ass 5'1". So I just think these guys need to have the right team around them that can sit there and check and balance them. Because I don't like what I'm hearing from Shakur Stevenson, man. Like he's the best boxer in the sport. He's the this, he's the that. Look, I think there should be, the self-esteem should be on point. The self-efficacy should be on point. But it's called self-delusion. And that's what I think is happening with Shakur Stevenson to a certain extent. And hopefully they can get control of that before he ends up out here in this fight with Zepeda. You can't go into a fight with Zepeda, since we're talking about it, right? You can't go into a fight with William Zepeda and do something here and be looking to knock this guy out. Y'all got to know Zepeda's story, man. Okay, I read this guy's story. Zepeda fighting for something different. They call him Cameron. Cameron means shrimp in Spanish. This man, dad passed away and everything. Y'all got to know his story, man. And living with family members after, parents lost his parents. He's got a story where you understand his story. Shakur Stevenson's story doesn't compare to Zepeda's. Most of these boxers' stories don't compare to his story. He's fighting for something different. So Shakur Stevenson getting there against a guy with 33 wins, 27 KOs, 81% KO ratio, who's 5'9", 69.5-inch reach. So he actually has about a 2-inch reach advantage on Shakur Stevenson, and who's going to throw upwards of 70 to 100 punches around. Yeah, he can sit there and go in there and try to knock Cameron out, but I just think it's going to be all bad for him. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, just trying to put things in perspective. Shakur Stevenson is a bad boy. He can really fight. He's really, really good. But he's got to pump his brakes, hold his horses, and stop taking it to the stupid. Because he's about to get himself, man, into a situation where once he get in that ring, it ain't no timeouts. He knows this. But if he's going there trying to goddamn knock out Zepeda because he believes he has this kind of KO strength and he wants to prove it, same mistakes Devin Haney's made, Shakur Stevenson is going to get, he's going to lose, people. And he may get his ass stopped. I'm just telling you, Zepeda ain't no joke, man. Anyway, if Shakur beats him, all respect to him. All respect to him. It's like I didn't expect Rolly to beat Ryan. I knew Rolly had power, but I'm like, that should be an easy fight for Ryan. I am not all saying Shakur is an easy fight for Zepeda, and I'm not saying Zepeda is an easy fight for Shakur. That's a difficult fight for both. It's just the way Shakur is talking. I just have a feeling Zepeda gonna clip him already because of his work rate and everything else, man. But because Shakur, it seems like he's more focused on the money, and wants to fast track his success to be where Crawford is already. You can't do that. Crawford still doesn't get credit. You trying to fast track something to be like Crawford, and Crawford still doesn't have what you trying to chase? When Crawford beats Canelo, like I'm telling you, I think Crawford is going to beat him. Canelo is not the same. Canelo is old, man. People in the comments, well, no, he's 34 years old. Monkey see, monkey do. You just hear somebody else say some bullshit. Canelo's old, man. Guy started fighting pro at 15. Come out here talking about he's still young. He ain't, okay, by his age, 35, 34, yeah, technically he's not old. But as far as the wear and tear on his body, Canelo's ass is old. And it's showing up in the ring. So when Crawford gets in there with him and puts the bing bings on him, which I think Crawford's going to do, they ain't going to give Crawford any credit. I've got to save this for another video. I'm giving y'all too much. Crawford's going into the Canelo fight with Canelo coming off a what I'm going to say, a horrible performance. Williams' school had everything to do with that. But Canelo still throwing the looping wide left hook and, bending like he's going down and coming upstairs with his shots. His punch selection is on point. He just doesn't do enough. So my thing is, Crawford's about to go into a fight with Canelo coming off of a subpar performance. And Crawford's going to beat him, and they're not going to give Crawford any credit. So Crawford will probably rematch Canelo or retire, and will always have a question mark looming over his head about his boxing career. So if I was Shakur Stevenson, I wouldn't be trying to fast track none of that. I'd be trying to look at what may have happened with Terence Crawford, things within his control, things out of his control, and try not to allow those things happen to you, so that way you get credit for every fight you fought. So when you do decide to retire or whatever, you're not someone who's going to be there where people say, who's he fought? He's fought nobody. Because that's exactly the trajectory Shakur Stevenson's on right now. But if he beats Zepeda, that's a real fight. That's just a real fight. But there's still going to be people out here say Zepeda's just a wild fighter who just throws a lot of punches, which is not the case. Anyway, keep cool. I think Shakur Stevenson headed towards disaster if he don't, frame things properly, man, and stop taking it to the stupid. Bad boy, I like him, respect him. He's a great fighter, but he sounds like he already gone Hollywood on us, and that's not good. Keep cool. I'm in the breeze.